Good morning, folks. I'm your host, BKP. We're North Georgia's only live online morning show. Let's tell people how they can contact the show. All right, 706-889-9700, and there's our phone, our email address, and all the ways you can follow us on social media. That being said, now I have to get out at 9:50 on Mondays, so Josh could prepare the sports show Instant Replay with Lauren Hunter and Dave Garner. So that is on our Team FYN Sports Facebook page. They go live there at 10 a.m. So I got to get out at 9:50. At 9 o'clock, we're going to have, The Guardian has written an article, and I know we're talking about Iowa and the media and the 19 Democrat hopefuls that went to Iowa and hate Trump, and the world's only problem is Trump. Trump divided this country to where those people have to live on the streets just in a couple years. I mean, don't you think it's amazing that if you want to sit back and you want to say Trump caused everything, every single thing. I think that's amazing in itself. I mean, here you have this piece of garbage, Johnson, Lyndon Baines Johnson, right? And you have all the Democrats in these inner cities. They've worked for all these years to destroy the black community, to kill unborn black children, to leave black children uneducated and poor living conditions with no health care. They have worked so hard to accomplish this. And Trump comes in 2 years and swoop, everything's his fault. I mean, the man is amazing, right? It's a little facetious. The Guardian came out with an article that said, can Trump win in 2020? This Pennsylvania county may hold the key. And realistically, it will in large part be the keystone. Pennsylvania is the keystone state. It is actually the keystone county in that state that can pull Trump over like it did last time. And we're going to talk about that, all right? So the President of the United States, today we have, and I wonder, see these two guys, number 9, all right? Number 9 is William Barr. And if you'll listen to Barr when he did the interview with CBS and he talks to others, Barr will let you know directly he can't put the pieces together of why this campaign, the Trump campaign, was looked into quite the way that they did. He can't put the pieces together. Why'd that happen? Now, I find it interesting. Not a Democrat one finds it interesting, and not a Democrat one has taken the time to read any of Judicial Watch Freedom of Information Act, the request there, the documents that Tom Fitton has released. And here's a guy just can't put all the pieces together. Just can't. And here is a guy that knows that Robert Mueller cut out. Now, I forget Trump's attorney, but in the Mueller report, there's the front. I think you all know this. You can actually, if you'll Google this, you'll get this later. In the Mueller report, there's the front of Michael Flynn's sentence with his discussion, with Trump's lawyer, one of President Trump's attorneys. But the end of the discussion where the attorney says, only if you're able to talk. The front of that sentence that leads everybody in the Mueller report to believe that that obstruction with Michael Flynn happened because Trump asked his personal attorney, one of his attorneys there, not Jay Sekulow, the other guy, I forget his name, to call Flynn and say, hey, you know, you need to, you know, whatever. Only if you can. If you can't, we understand. That got left off. So some of the claims of obstruction. So you have a nothing coup. You have a coup that's about absolutely nothing whatsoever. And now the obstruction is totally about nothing. We have not one person indicted or in prison, that includes Michael Cohen, for anything close to what Trump has been accused of. But yet, because that is 100% clean, everything else is being considered obstruction. So William Barr, your Attorney General, will not, he won't go for their dog and pony show. He won't let them have their counsel question him. Don McGahn, it's executive privilege. He's the White House counsel. Basically, they have 30-some hours of testimony, right? I mean, I'm just saying this off the top of my head. Don McGahn, 30-some hours of testimony, folks. So they are in contempt, or going to be held. There's going to be a vote to hold them in contempt, right? And so today, number 15, this is serious. We are spending America's tax money for the Judiciary Committee to hold hearings. And the title of the hearings, because it's on their official website, Lessons from the Mueller report. Lessons. They're going to go back and they're going to review people. They're going to have people testify today that understand the Nixon obstruction. They're going to have John Dean. I think there's a couple more, but today the actual hearing is called Lessons from the Mueller report. Lessons. Because what did they say they had to do? They have to educate the American people on what's really happened. You take a analyst that is a paid analyst from CNN. You take somebody on CNN's payroll and then try to spin your hearings are lessons from the Mueller report, and you want the American people to believe it. So I don't think that works out for them today. Number 16, impeachment agenda today. House Dems to kick off pre-impeachment agenda, all right? It's like NFL preseason, right? They'll play a couple games before they get started. Number 16. Do not think for 1 minute, and I just want to say this and get it out of the way. Do not think for 1 minute, that Nancy Pelosi is against impeaching the President of the United States. I don't believe that. Nothing about it. Okay. Now, here are your Iowa caucus, but here are the top choice nominees and likely Democrat caucus goers. All right, so let's go to number 23. Let's go to a little polling data here. CNN poll, Biden on top in Iowa, 24%. Biden skipped the weekend. Biden doesn't want to talk about abortion. Now, let me say this. If we develop if we have massive outbreaks of disease in this country, if we actually come up with another disease we got to eradicate, if our children that are born today, within the next 20 years, that nobody will talk about what come across the border and what's living in the decay in these inner cities, how nasty and filthy, and their health hazards. I mean, our country's a health hazard. I mean, you would think I'm joking, right? You go to Walmart, Target, Costco, you go to your grocery stores, and right out front is your disinfectant wipe so you can clean the handle off of your buggy. You laugh if you want. But 20 years from now, they're not concerned. Right now, the media wants to drive abortion. And I'm okay with that. I'm pro-life. But they want to drive that. That's the car they want to drive. Let me get to oh yeah, did you realize, here's something that I thought you should go through your day knowing. This is going to be a shocker, folks. Number 28. Now, if you notice, all the way back 2008, 2010, 12, 14, but then around 16, something happens. This is your favorability rating with Mexicans. Just thought you couldn't get through your day without that. Here's your Mexicans with a favorability view of U.S. Look at the plunge. I mean, look at what Trump's done. Guatemalans and Hondurans come through Mexico. Why don't they get a job there? Why not? Why don't they stay in Mexico? Mexico has our jobs. They got our factories. Nobody ever talks about these are not Mexicans coming to the border. Nobody. When I say nobody, I'm talking you don't hear this on CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS. You don't hear that. You don't hear like the 80s, in the 80s and 90s, the Mexicans rushed across that border. But no, what happened in the 90s that stopped that? What did Bill Clinton sign? NAFTA. Mexicans have stopped rushing that border since NAFTA. We sent everything down. We sent our jeans factories. We sent our agriculture down there. Big farms opened up south of the border. Didn't have the picking problem. I mean, you got your whole migrant worker thing up there in California. So those California avocados could cost a little more than below the border, right? Same thing with your bananas and everything else. Tomatoes. We shipped everything down. NAFTA shipped it all down. Cars, car parts, factories, Levi's. I mean, it does not stop. Guess what? We didn't have to have, Mexicans didn't have to flood and flood our border with a caravan. Didn't have to. They got jobs. Mexicans are not flooding the border now. Right? Guess what Mexicans don't want? They don't want these people, number 20, to take their job. That's what they don't want. They don't want these people to take their job. They don't want these people, number 20, to take their job. There you go. Now, why are the Guatemalans moving right along through Mexico and the El Salvadorans, why and Hondurans, whatever they all are, why are they moving right along through Mexico, rushing for the U.S.? Mexico doesn't have the benefits. You can't get all the benefits you want. You can't get the housing, the benefits, the doctors. You can't get the free education for your children. All those kids can't go to Mexican public schools. Maybe you should look up Mexican public schools. See how just public the Mexican schools are. And if you don't have to pay to go, I don't know, check it out. Why stop in Mexico? All you got to do is hit that border. Health care. Shoot, we talk about universal health care. They know. Health care, free education, list goes on. Somewhere to live. All right. And I'm for sure Bernie Sanders, number 19, is talking about that out in Iowa. Out in Iowa. No, you know what they're talking about in Iowa? Farmers are going under. Farmers are going under. Maybe they need to call Willie Nelson and do a farm aid out in Iowa. There you go. There is a thought. I mean, Donald Trump has brought back the farmers going under out there in Iowa, and we need Willie Nelson. I mean, there you go. Why not, right? I thought you would, you would like the. So let me go over a couple polls here really quick before our guest comes on. Vote for president in 2020. This is number 31, Josh. NPR. Re-elect President Trump, only 36%. Vote against the president. Would you vote against him? Hell yeah, I'll vote against that guy any day. That's up to 15. And then we have 13% undecided. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you a poll that absolutely is like, we have to, when I say educate ourselves, we need to get, I have 2 hours a day. Russia has 3. Okay, we have to educate ourselves to the point to where independents and Republicans, we get back to the polls, okay? Here's the one, number 10. Now, this is what the media, now we have the apathy in this country, okay, is the fault of the corrupt politicians alongside the corporate media that has shaped American minds for how many years to get you to believe certain things. And now the apathy is out there so bad, and it's the fault. It's not the people's fault, folks. It's corporate media and crooked politicians. And we could turn that around, because right here, let me ask you a question. First of all, people are pro-choice or pro-life. I just don't find anybody middle of the road, okay? Americans on abortion, pro-choice 57%. That's up 10 since February. Who are these 10%? Pro-life, 35%. That's down 12. Who are these people they're finding? I thought this was settled law in America. I thought it was ingrained in the fabric of America. Why, are you telling me that the numbers change on whether people believe in pro-choice or pro-life? Because I think first, with everything that's happened out there in late third term partial birth abortions, that Democrats are having no choice. They're having no choice but to say they're okay with. Those numbers are not correct. I'm going to give you one more before I go to break. Give me number 35. Americans on Roe v. Wade. 26%, but add more restrictions. 21% expand, given the right to abortion under any circumstances, 21%. You got them, we kill them. You bring them in, we kill them. Even commercials. Any circumstances, commercials. Just like one call, that's all. One call. 16% keep it the way it is. 14% keep, but reduce some restrictions. 13% overturn. That's a Marist PBS NewsHour NPR poll. Lord, no liberal lefties there. Can't find them in that group. But boy, MSNBC loves that polling data. Late-term abortions. I'm going to tell you what, the Democrats are in a mess. See, they created their crazy caucus. They created their crazy base. Republicans did not create, okay, their base. Oh, we'll break that down. But you got to understand the climate change, the welfare state, the inner cities, the crazy base of the left. Democrats created it. Now they're not figuring out how to work alongside. Because let me tell you something, if you believe any of those candidates, this is my opinion, if you believe any of those candidates out there in Iowa truly believe America's in line with partial birth abortions, oh, you're badly mistaken. I'm your host, BKP. We're going to take a break. We do this every once in a while, every couple months, but due to the fact that The Guardian came out with an article that said, can Trump win in 2020? This Pennsylvania county may hold the key, and we happen to have the Northampton County, PA GOP chairman is going to be with us right after these messages. Take us to break, Josh.